Okay. Welcome everyone. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear what I am saying. If you can hear my voice, if you can see the screen. Okay. Um, and let me know in the chat if you can hear me. All right. All right. All right. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Uh, Let me know if you can hear me. Okay. Thank you for you, Earth. And can you see my screen as well? Okay. We will go on with the class now. We have waited a little for some people to join, and it also seems that network is a little dragging for now, but we will continue anyways. So yes, this is day two, the second class in this series of Photoshop immersion. In the last class that I shared with you, I showed you how you can um, open your Photoshop, how you can create a new file, how you can create an artboard, and then just as a reminder, I'm going to create it again for everyone to go over it. I understand that some people have not been able to install their Photoshop, but please, you can just follow um, this class. We will settle everything that has to do with Photoshop tonight after this call. Most likely, we are going to have another brief call where I just let everyone talk, and then we do installations across um, computers if you are interested. All right, so let's get started for today. Every once in a while, I'll be checking my screen to be sure that you can see what I'm doing, and then to be sure that the stream is still live. Okay. If at any point you do not hear or you can't see my screen anymore, just send a message on the WhatsApp group and I will attend to it. All right. Thank you so much. Yesterday, I mentioned that to create a new file, once you open your Photoshop, most likely what you will see will be like this. Okay, it will look like this, but you will not see this area, the recent files that I worked on. You won't see them because it is your first time opening the Photoshop. Okay, it is your first time, so you are going to see something like this new file or something around this area that tells you new file. Then what you do is you just click on this new file, and then once you do that, it will ask you for the dimensions. I mentioned something yesterday that your dimensions come from whatever it is you want to do. There is no one size fits all. Okay, so usually if you do not know or you are just getting started in design, you may have to be checking uh, Google for dimensions. And yesterday we worked with 4 by 5. I don't know if you remember, but Based on what you can see on my screen right now, we have this thing selected, this one, and then just follow my mouse, please. I don't know if you have all watched the video I shared with you of the class 1 part 1 and 2, but if you haven't, you can still follow from here. So what you do is to select any of these ones and then configure it on the right hand side. Please ensure to follow my mouse whenever I move my mouse around so that you know what I am talking about. All right, so in this place you can name class 2. This is class 2. Then we want to create it for Instagram post as a portrait post on Instagram. If you don't know the size, you can easily just go on Google like this, and then you check, you say um, Instagram size or sizes, and then Google will give you results of what you are doing, okay, or the what you should do rather. So here Google is telling us that Instagram post sizes come in different forms. I'm waiting for this to load. The network may be a little slow because I'm downloading with the same network that I'm uploading with. All right, so you check it up here, and then Google is supposed to show you some stuff. This is unusually slow, but let's manage it. All right, so here it says Instagram post can be square, landscape, or vertical. The ideal size for square post is 1080 by 1080 pixels at 1:1 aspect ratio. And then there's landscape, but the one we want actually is the vertical images should be sized at 1080 pixels by 1350 pixels with a 4 to 5 aspect ratio. So what we need now is this 1080 pixels by 1350 pixels. I mentioned in the last class that when someone tells you the dimension they want for the design, the first thing they say is usually for the width. It is a standard practice. The first thing they say, the first figure they mention is the width, and the second one is the height. So when I say do for me a design in 1080 by 1350 dimension, what I mean is the first figure I mentioned, which is 1080, is the width, and the second figure I mentioned is for the height. All right, so 1080 is 1080, that is 1080 pixels. Then the height will be, you select this place, highlight everything, and type 1350, that is 1350 pixels. I'm going over this because I know some people may not have seen the video I shared with you of class 1, as we could not go live yesterday. Okay, so there is the unit here, which is the pixels. As you continue in this journey, you will begin to understand the differences between the different units that are available for use. If you click on this drop down arrow, you have pixels, you have inches, you have centimeters, you have millimeters, you have points, you have pickers. I've never really used these pickers or points, even millimeters, but I've used the remaining 3 here. Know better how to judge them and appropriate the sizes, or use calculator to know what you are doing, especially when you are doing large format designs. But let's continue with what we are doing. So we want to create a post for Instagram in the vertical image dimension, that is a portrait. Okay, you know, some posts on Instagram are in square, some are in portrait, some are in landscape. What we want to do now is the portrait dimension of Instagram post. Okay, now let me give you a quick hack on this. When you are doing a post on Instagram, an image design, it is recommended that you do it in 1080 by 1350 for a number of reasons. One is that when it is tall, let me just use that phrase, that it is tall, when it is long, it covers more part of the screen of whoever is viewing it. In that case, if that is the case, then that person is not exactly distracted. It's a psychological arrangement. The person will not be is not necessarily going to be distracted by other posts on the page, because your own post is covering more than half of the page compared to a landscape. You can see 2 posts when it is a landscape on Instagram, depending on the phone you are using. Okay, so it is good to use a vertical one. Let's continue. So when you enter 1080 by 1350 pixels, then I mentioned that you check this artboard. Please, I will encourage you to watch the videos from yesterday so that I won't have to go over these things. I explained why you should be using this artboard. This checkbox here, it can be on or off, right? So you need to check it and make sure that it is active. There is a reason for it. I explained it in the class yesterday, the video I shared with you. Okay, so what you do is you check this and your resolution should be 300 pixels per inch. This one as well, you will learn it over time while we are doing that. Okay, it's for high resolution image. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but sometimes, especially when you are designing for print, it is very important that you do it in 300 pixels at the very least. Okay, and then your color space, the color mode you are using is RGB. I also explained this yesterday in the class that RGB stands for red, green and blue, and those are the three colors that are combined to get almost any color that you see on screen. Those three colors are combined in different ratios, in different hues and saturations to get any color that you see on your screen. So RGB. If you change this from if you remove this artboard, if you uncheck this artboard, then this RGB can be changed to any other color. So like this, now we have bitmap, we have grayscale, RGB color, CMYK and lab color. But the moment you click, you check this artboard, the only option available to you is the RGB. You can't see the other options again. All right, so having done all of that, every other thing on this screen can remain as is right now. So you just click on create and then we have this artboard in front of us. Yes, so yesterday this was pretty much the stuff that I explained in the videos, although I explained more extensively so that you would understand, especially for beginners, people that are very new to design or to Photoshop. I know some people are already designing, some people are into design already, but they are not using Photoshop. So if you are just moving to Photoshop, these are the things that are fundamental. And I mentioned yesterday that I am a systems person. I believe that if you understand the system, you can actually do well. You can do better than you would. Sometimes the test of your expertise or your competence in what you claim to do is your ability to explain the basics, how you can explain how everything works, fundamental principles. It's like going to school and then getting an A in a course, and then they ask you a question about the course maybe 1 year later. You don't know anything again about it. It's because maybe you just put everything in your head, cram it, and then pour it out, and then forget about it. We used to say la cram, la pour, la, la forget. Okay, so you need to understand the fundamental parts. That's why I'm explaining all of these things to you. Okay, now for people who just downloaded their software today or their Photoshop today, there is something I explained about how to organize your screen yesterday. I explained something about organizing your screen. Okay, now you need to watch that video because when you first open your Photoshop, this is not what you will see. Your screen will look different. In fact, I figured out that I did not cover a part of that thing yesterday, and that was because I didn't have that software installed and new on my system. It's on my second laptop. So maybe I will install it again, and then anybody that needs help, you can just ask. I will do the video for you, or we do a live session and then everybody can get on it. Okay, so you may have to organize your screen. What you see right now is not what you see every time that you open your Photoshop. You will see different stuff. It will not always be like this. Okay, it will always be something new. You will see something like tutorial, teaching you how Photoshop works. You will see your color swatches. You will see this layers panel may be out like this. You may see your swatches like this. You may see your lens, your pattern, something like that. You will have to arrange everything. And please watch the videos from yesterday. I'm repeating this so that it will not stress you. Watch the video from yesterday so that you understand what I'm talking about. So you organize these things like this. I'll organize it the same way I explained yesterday. You can move these things around. You can even close the ones that you don't need. For example, you will see something like learn. Let me activate it. If you come to Windows, please follow my mouse. If you come to Windows up here and click on it, you will see many of these windows here, many of these panels here listed. The ones with this mark, this mark that looks like Nike logo, or your normal mark, the check mark, anywhere you see it, it indicates that that panel is actually active. Right now, my character panel is active, my panel is active, my properties panel is active, but it's not checked in here. I don't know why, but you get what I am saying. So I explained yesterday that anything that you need, you can activate it from here. Anything that you don't need, you can actually deactivate it from here, or you can close it. But I didn't make an example of that closing yesterday, or maybe I did. So let me quickly do it. There is, let me add gradient. Okay, gradient is already there. Let me add uh, libraries. I will add libraries, and then look at it here. Libraries will load here. And what happens next is that if you don't need it, anything you don't need, you can either collapse it like this by clicking this little icon that has two arrows facing the same direction. And then if you click again, it will be expanded. Now, if you don't need it any longer, you can just easily close it by clicking on this X icon on the top right hand corner of it. So if I click on the X now, it disappears. So that's how you organize your screen. I'm running over this because today's class is different from this, but this is what we did. I really just want you to understand it. Please, if you can see hear me, let me know in the comment section. Let me know. Okay. 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 Yeah. I want to be sure. I want to be sure. Okay. Please hold on. The connection is somewhat poor. We fix it, and then we continue. Hold on, please. I need just 30 seconds. Okay. Please let me know if you can hear me now. Let me know if you can hear me now. The network is somewhat poor. Let me know. Okay. We continue from now. Okay. Right. So what we do now is to continue with the class. We have from the previous videos the few things that you need before getting here. Now, once you open your Photoshop, you create a new file. The normal thing is for you to have a blank screen like this. You have an artboard. This artboard has a name, artboard 1. If you click on this name, it activates this little plus buttons on the sides, on top, below, and then the two sides. So you have a plus here, you have one here, you have another here, and then one here. So if you click any of these plus icons, what it does is that it will duplicate or create a copy of that artboard in the same dimension. So for example, I'll click here and then it creates one. Now, if I click on the name of this artboard 1 again, there is no plus mark on the right hand side because we already created an artboard on that side. So anywhere you see the plus, if you click there, you will have another artboard in the same dimension. top we have one, and then at the bottom you click on the name. You have to click on the name of the artboard before you can see the plus mark, not inside the artboard, on the name itself. So you click on it like this, then it adds another artboard. Now I will undo everything that I just did and be left with just one artboard, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's how you can add the artboard. Another thing you can do is, once you click on the name of this artboard, you can actually expand the width by yourself. So you can expand the width, you can expand the height. Let's say you there is something I always do. Sometimes I design in the actual dimension and then I scale it up, make it bigger. In design it is called scale. So you scale it up to like double the size or triple the actual size. That way when they are uploading it, it compresses and the image even gets sharper. But do not jump ahead of yourself. Let's just go on from here. So you have this empty screen. Now in design, we mentioned yesterday that graphic design is the practice of combining visual and textual content to create an image for communication purpose. Okay, so on this artboard, you are an artist right now. You want to add colors, you want to add images, you want to add text, you want it to look good. And I'm going to open my screen, some of my recent files, and then show you some stuff. Okay, let's open this. Let's open this, and then let's wait for it to load. Let me be sure you guys can see okay. The network is good now, thank God. All right, so what we do now is that I'll show you this. Look at this artboard. At some point in the life of these designs, they were blank screens like this. They were this blank, nothing on the page. So as a designer, and even though I mentioned yesterday that I wasn't going to be teaching you graphic design or photo editing like that, it will not, this training will not be complete without me teaching you some. What I meant was that I wasn't going to teach you deep and deep and deep things like that in design, because this is just to show you how Photoshop works so that you can use it for yourself and for designs. And if you're interested, you can learn more. By the way, I'm going to have another course after this one, and I expect that a number of you guys will join, having known how Photoshop works. That one is where we are going to learn real design. Now what I'm saying is that at some point, these designs that you see, they were just blank pages. So it is on you as the designer to start putting the images, the text, the colors, the elements that you download, bring them together to form something appealing to the eyes. Okay, now I just said appealing to the eyes, but sometimes even I do some designs that I'm not proud about, I'm not proud of. You will never see me post them. Sometimes it's not my fault, sometimes it is my fault, sometimes I'm just tired. Okay, but you'll be able to combine one or two things and then make a design of it. So you will need what I call the toolbox. If you follow my mouse to the left hand side here, you will see these icons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down here. By the way, I want to apologize for yesterday. I could not get the videos done. In fact, I slept by 3 a.m. and woke up 6 to continue the video that I was doing to upload today. So I'm really sorry I couldn't keep up with the schedule. All right, so everything here, there are tools that you use. Now if you have watched the videos I shared yesterday, you know that you can move this out, you can expand it. In fact, I think you can, depending on how your mouse works. I'm not able to. Yeah, you can expand it this way by clicking these arrows. You can collapse everything. Now this is your toolbox. Okay, these are the tools that you'll be using. Now if you look down here under this window, you see tools. It is checked. As long as it is checked, it will be present on your screen. Okay, so I said I will teach you the essentials, everything that you will need. I am really going to show you everything that you need, not everything that is available for use, because this is Photoshop. Honestly, if you know from 10-15% of Photoshop, you can do good designs. You can actually edit some photos, and you can get a job, and you will not be put to shame. You will not be put to shame at that job. You will know what you are doing, and you will achieve almost everything that you are doing. Okay, so you don't need to know everything for a start. You don't be intimidated. The people that you see that are doing great designs now, they have started way back. I started learning design when I was in secondary school, and that's about 2008, 2009. I didn't design for a number of years when I was looking for admission, and then when I got to school, I started designing again, and then I stopped for some time and resumed in 2019. So I've been doing this for long. I started with CorelDRAW. So if you compare yourself to people who have gone way, or who started way earlier than you will be intimidated, and you may be pressured into giving up. So you don't need to know everything for a start. You just need the essentials, and you need to understand them. So I'm going to show you the ones that are important, that are needed, that you can't do anything without knowing them, right? So let's start with the toolbox. By the way, if today we can, I'm very sure we can finish with the toolbox tomorrow, but if we do just what we need, we'll be able to move on to the layers panel. This layers panel is very, very big. It's a big deal in design or on Photoshop. It can be confusing. In fact, I've met people who ran away from Photoshop because of the layers panel. Look at this place now. I know I digress, but it is important. This place has artboard 1, and inside that artboard we have just one layer. If we add another artboard, we see artboard 2, and then inside it there's nothing yet. Okay, now the more artboard that you have, I'll press Ctrl Z to undo now, or Ctrl Z. Sorry for my bad English. Okay, now the more things you add to your design, the more layers you will have. Everything will start increasing, and all of this place will be filled up with layers. An example of that is in this design I was showing you. Look at this socials, this design. It has 172 layers, not just this design, everything on this page, because there are 4 artboards here. There are 172 layers. If you follow my mouse, you can see down here, you see 172 layers, 51 groups. So there are 51 groups, and then there are 172 layers. So if you scroll up and down on the layers panel, you will see all of them here, right? You see them here. So we are going to, I'm still going to explain everything here to you tomorrow or the day after, but you can be sure that you will learn everything that you need to learn in design. Please let me know if you can still hear me. I just want to be sure. Let me know if you can still hear me. Okay, all right. So let's go back to Photoshop now. What you need to learn on this page and in this toolbox, you will need to learn this first icon. You need to learn the second, the third. You need to learn this at some point, but not now. You need to learn the brush tool. So let's write them down. The move tool, the move tool or the artboard tool, the marquee tool, the selection tool, or the lasso tool. This is the selection tool. You need to learn 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you need to learn the brush tool, 5. You need to learn the gradient tool, 6. Okay, then you need to learn the type tool. You need to learn the shape tool, right? So that's about 7 or 8, but let's get started. Okay, so this video will be available after stream as well, in case you need to go over it. But do not get intimidated. Everything is actually simple. Everything is easy to do on Photoshop. Some people make a case of it that it's big deal, but it's not. I tell you. Now let's start from here. The first thing I want you to learn is that whenever you see an arrow, this little arrow, please watch my mouse very well. Whenever you see a little arrow beside an icon like this, if you click on that arrow and hold your mouse, you left click and hold the mouse, don't release your click, it will pop up an extension of that icon. You can see now we have the move tool, and then we have the artboard tool. I'll do it again. Like I said, whenever you click, when you see an icon that has this little arrow, most of them have it. In fact, in all of this panel, it's only this one that doesn't have it. Okay, the zoom tool. So when you see this arrow, two options available for you. You can left click and hold the mouse. It will pop up the extension of that tool. What it means essentially is that there are more tools inside of that tool that you can use. They will be related to each other. Okay, those tools will be related to each other. So when you click and hold, it will give you an extension that you can now select another tool inside of that collection. So if I click on move tool now, it changes the icon, but the arrow still remains beside it. It means that I can have more things inside of this collection that are related. So this is the move tool, and it helps you to move elements from one place to the other. Okay, but inside of it is the artboard tool. So I'll click and hold, and then it will show me the artboard tool. If I click on it, then it becomes the artboard tool, and you can see that the icon on my mouse, please follow my mouse, I'm moving it around, it's to the right of the artboard now. I hope you can see it. The icon on my mouse has changed. It has become the artboard tool. Quickly, if I click on this screen right now and hold and drag my mouse, click, hold and drag, click, hold and drag, it will draw another artboard for me. That is the function of that tool. It can draw an artboard for you. So now what I can do, I'll press delete on my keyboard and it disappears. But the tool still remains on the icon. Okay, the tool still remains on the icon. The tool will not disappear until you drop it. And what can you do to drop it? You go back. The tool that must always be on, or at least that you will always need on your mouse, is the move tool, and it is inside this place. So if you click again and hold, what it does is that you will see the move tool. You can click on it and go out, and your mouse icon, please look at my mouse, will change to what it was. That little arrow, that is your move tool. Okay, so if that is your move tool, then you can move things around. So if I click on the name of this artboard now, listen to me, I will click and hold. I will not release my mouse. I click, I hold, and then I move around. I drag the mouse around. Can you see it is moving the artboard? So if I need to organize a design, let's go back to this design. If I need to move the artboard around, maybe I need to compare two things, I can just bring it down. I can bring one of my designs down, right? There's a reason this design is doing like this. I wish I can explain now, but let me just fix that. It's a canvas size. It is very short. So this is 3,000. I'll change to 9,000. Most likely it's going to fix that issue for us. Okay, so sometimes some operations may take a little time. This one will be like 30, maybe not 30 seconds, but let's watch it. So I want to increase the canvas size of this page that you're seeing. This one is something that you will learn later. It may affect you every once in a while, but if you do your calculations well from start by making your decision on your dimension, that sounds like a rhyme. Okay, so you need to decide your dimension. And now let me tell you this. When you are doing a design, when you are doing design on Photoshop especially, if you get your dimensions wrong from start, it may stress you. So you need to be sure always. If someone says do this design for me, and then you just go ahead to do the design without asking for the size, you may have issues. You may have issues with it later, because that size is always constant, and when you want to change it, it may affect you, especially if you are not very proficient at using the tool yet, that is Photoshop. So I've increased this canvas size, and now you see, if I click on the name of the artboard, I can move it around. I can move it around. Can you see? It goes around. Okay, I can bring this other one down like this, and then it goes around. Can you see? You need to click on the name. You hold your mouse, do not release your mouse, hold your mouse and drag. Click, hold, drag. I'm saying this because I know some people are not used to computers, but normally what you do on computers, you want to move something around, is to click and hold and drag. Okay, so I'm not supposed to be saying it, but for the sake of people who are new to these things, please bear with me, bear with them as well. Okay, so you can click, hold and drag. That is what makes it the move tool. Now I want you to notice two things. The moment I click on this artboard name, the tool on the toolbox here has changed back to artboard tool because I changed to the artboard name, because I clicked, sorry, because I clicked on the artboard. However, once I put my mouse on it, it becomes a move tool, no longer the artboard tool. Look at the mouse outside here, it is the artboard tool because I just clicked on the artboard. But once I put my mouse on the name again, it becomes a move tool. So now I don't have to draw another artboard again. Once I'm on it, what I can do now is to move that artboard around. Okay, so that is the move tool. But before we move on, two things I want you to learn as well about the toolboxes or the toolbox and the tools is that anytime you click on a tool, maybe you click and hold. Let's make it three things to learn. This is actually very, very simple. I assure you, just follow it and then you can be practicing on your laptop as well. Once you click on this thing, you click and hold your mouse. It will show you this extension. It's always a collection. Anytime you see this arrow beside an icon, it's a collection. There are more tools inside of it. So it is either that you click and hold your mouse to see more, or you can just right click on the tool. Let me do that for you. If I right click once and release my mouse, it will show them. I'll right click here, same thing happens. Right click, same thing. Right click, same thing. I hope my my microphone is picking my mouse clicks. So if you right click, it will show you what is inside. Oh, this one is just one, it doesn't have an extension. Okay, right click, it shows more. But you can also click and hold and it will still show more. That is the first thing. The second thing is that once you hover your mouse on any icon, if you just put your mouse on it, you don't click, you don't do anything, Photoshop is smart enough to tell you the function of that tool. So right now, I move my mouse out, I bring it back to the tool, and then I leave the mouse. I will not click anything. Then it will pop up this guide. It will say the name of the tool. Beside it, you will see that little box that contains a letter on the keyboard. That letter on the keyboard is the shortcut to that tool. In the case of the move tool or artboard tool, it is V. Now, even though sometimes a tool can have an extension, it can be a collection, it is the same artboard. It is the same artboard that, oh sorry, not I missed what I wanted to say. It is the same letter that is the shortcut for all of them. Okay, so let me right click and we see the extension. If I right click now, the move tool has V beside it. Artboard tool also has V beside it. So V can work for the two of them, but it depends on how you click it. I will see explain that. If I come to the next icon and right click, this is the marquee tool. We use it to select. You see that beside it, M is the shortcut for the rectangular marquee tool. Then M is the shortcut for elliptical marquee tool. Okay, so it is always the same letter that is the shortcut for them. If you come to the third one, I right click, it is L. L is the shortcut for the lasso tool, the polygonal lasso tool, then the magnetic lasso tool. It is always the same letter for each collection. All right, so first thing that we learned in that is it is either you click and hold to see the collection, or you right click, you see the collection. Another thing is that when you hover your mouse on any of these tools, Photoshop will show you the functionality of that tool. Look at my mouse on this one. It says polygonal lasso tool. Then it puts the letter for the shortcut, which is L, and then it tells you what it does. It says this tool make selections by connecting straight lines. So you can make selections by connecting straight lines. It will tell you what it does. So when you're experimenting on Photoshop, you can always just put your mouse on any of these tools and then you learn what it does. Okay, you learn what that tool does. So let's continue. That's Those are the things that I needed you to learn about these tools. So we have discussed the move tool. You can click on it. Once you select the move tool, you can move anything around. Yeah, please, if you can still hear me and you can see my screen, you can let me know in the comment section. I see one or two questions here. And these streams will be saved, right? Yes, the streams will be available. Okay, yes, the streams will be available. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so right now what you can do is that once you're back, let's go back to Photoshop. Oh, this network is poor. What's wrong with my network? Stream is LD, no data error. Stream is LD. Okay, okay, okay. You have a little challenge with network. Okay, but let's continue. It will still stream and then you can have access to the videos even after the class. All right, so we go back to this place. I hope the network gets better. Let me try to fix it again. Give me 10 seconds, please. Okay, back at it and let's check what is happening now. Okay, the network is back and better now. Okay, yeah, so let's move on. Right here on the move tool, once the move tool is on, or every single time, whether it is on or not, please look up and follow my mouse. Up here you see auto select. There's a checkbox beside it. Anytime this auto select is on and active, you can easily click on any element on this your design and it will move it around. So can you see I'm moving that trophy PNG image up and down the screen? Can you see? So you can and move around. You can click things and move around wherever they are. Once you click on any of them, it will select it and then it will move it around. Okay, you can click on this cup to move around. Click on this text, it will move around. Okay, it will select and then it can move. Now look at this. Once you have this icon selected, if you check this auto select, it can do this, but the moment you uncheck it, it can't do that anymore. It will stay on the last element you have selected. So right now I can't click on this cup, it won't respond to me. It will only move the text, the last thing I've selected. It will move it around. I can't click on this like button or this like icon, it will not respond to me. The last thing I selected is what will be moving around when I click and drag. Okay, so you must, anytime you need it, you check it. Sometimes you may want to deactivate it because it can be distracting sometimes. Okay, so even though this hour you spend in the weekend is this present thing I've selected right now, if I follow my mouse please, if I click on the edge of this first Friday of the year, look at the distance between the mouse and the text that is selected. If I click on the edge of this first Friday, it will still move that hour you spend in the weekend text. Can you see? It moves it around. because it cannot auto select anything again, which is the option from here. So if this auto select is not active, wherever you click it will not respond to you, it will only select the last thing that you have selected. Also, if nothing is selected, and I'm going to do that now, I'll just activate this and click outside of the artboard, and then I will deactivate this auto select. If nothing is selected and you click anywhere, it's going to give you an error. Just watch the alert that will come out. I'm going to click in one and click. Can you see? It says could not use the move tool because no layers are selected. Do you understand now? It will not use that tool because you have not selected anything. So two ways to go about it. The first way is to check this icon, auto select, and then click on anything you want to move around. Okay, let me lock this so that I can move the element under it. Let's move this. Okay, so you can check that and move stuff around. Another thing is that if it is not checked, what you can do is on your keyboard you put your hand on the control button, you hold it down, and then you click on anything you want to select. So I can click on this 50k and then it will respond to me. Can you see? If I hold my control button on the keyboard and then I left click on anything, it will select it. Do you understand now? So that's how the move tool works. Let's take this cup to the other page and then try to do this design. I think we should try to do this design, and it's probably going to be your task for today. So I'll click and drag. This is a technique. You can click anything from here, you drag it and move your mouse. Do not release your mouse, move it to the name of wherever document you want to use it on Photoshop to. You put the mouse on it, it will open that place. You bring it down. When you get inside the artboard, you release the mouse and then it will ask you a few questions. Then you check yes, and then it will bring that image from the previous design to this place. Do you understand now? So from an existing design you can move something to another design. So if I need this first Friday, it's a combination of a rectangle and a text, so I can select the two of them. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you and teach you how to select multiple items at the same time. Then I move it up to this place and drag it inside and release, so it becomes an item here as well. Now it looks different from what we had there. Don't worry, I'm going to explain everything to you. Now that is about the move tool. One other thing that I need you to know right now is that beside this auto select your layer, okay, is another thing that is called show transform controls. Once you check this, right, once you check this box, this show transform controls will help you to see this blue box around your layer. So any layer that you select, that blue box will show around it. Look at this, it has nodes on the edges. A node here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So 3 on the sides, 1 in the middle, on top and bottom. So 3 here, 3 here, and then 2, 1 on top, 1 at the bottom. So it makes 8 of them. These are called transform controls. You use them to control or to transform the element. Sometimes you may want to turn it off so that you can see clearly, right? But when you need it, you turn it on to transform. To transform is simply to make bigger, make smaller, make bigger, make smaller. If you right click, you can do some other things like rotate. You can rotate. You can right click again, you select another option, you can skew like this. If you right click again, you can warp like this. Can you see? So those are transformations that you can do to your layers. Okay, you see that I've destroyed this thing right now, but in design it may still be useful for me. Okay, so Once you check this show transform controls, anything that you select will have this four, this blue box around it with the nodes, these edges that you have, where we have these little boxes that you can just click and use to transform, make bigger, make smaller. In design it is called scale up or scale down. To make big is to scale up, to make smaller is to scale down. So that's for the move tools. Now what I want to encourage you to do is that I've given you tips on checking the collection. You can click and hold down to see what is inside. You can use the shortcut. So henceforth, if I want to use the move tool, I only have to click on V because I already know the shortcut. When I click and hold here, it will show me the shortcut. So anytime I'm somewhere else, say for example, if I click on this tool, which is the gradient tool, if I want to drop it, I will just click on V and it will drop that tool and return to move tool. The move tool is the constant tool that you always want to use. Something is wrong. I'm clicking on V and it's returning, so I'll just click on this place by myself. Okay, so the move tool is what can be active all the time and you will not be stressed. If you activate any other tool and you don't drop it, it's going to stress you. So if you activate this and then you try to move first Friday, if any tool is active and you are trying to move a layer on the artboard, it is going to stress you because that tool is not a move tool. So if I try to move this now, it will be drawing this thing. Can you see? I try to move again, it is drawing more. I try to move, it will draw more, it will draw more and more. Can you see? Instead of that, what you need to do is, in fact, having done all this selection now, you have compounded the problem. Because even if you drop this tool now, you can't just be moving things around again because look at the selection is still around it. So you need to deselect that thing. The shortcut for this deselecting stuff is Control D. You can keep that. Anytime you see that line that is just around your stuff and it's by mistake that you have it, you can just press Control D and it will disappear, and then you activate your move tool again. Okay, now another thing I want you to pay attention to is that whenever you click on a tool, when your auto select is on, when you click on that layer rather on your artboard, automatically on the layers panel it will select that particular layer. So I want you to do something, and I explained this yesterday. Watch this side of my screen, right? Follow my mouse. Watch this side of my screen, this layers panel where we have artboard 1, rectangle 14, first Friday, pngwing.com, blah blah blah, and this layer. Watch this side. Once I click on anything here, it will automatically select it in this place and you see a shade around the name. So let me click on this cup, or sorry, this glass. But watch that other side, this side of my screen. I'll click in 1, 2, click. Can you see that it automatically draws a shade around it? It means that that is the layer that is active at the moment. So let's say your design is, I'll go to the previous document. Let's say your design is this big thing here, is white, but you want to hide a layer. Maybe you don't need it any longer. You want to hide the layer. You select it here. It will locate it. Look at, there are many layers here. And like I said earlier, this design has 172 layers and 51 groups. So to try to locate a layer by just scrolling through the layers panel, look at, there are 172. That is even if you know the name of that layer. To be trying to locate it is going to stress you, and sometimes your design can grow really big. I'll open a big design for you that has so many artboards. Okay, let me open this. Your design can grow really big, so if you are trying to locate your layer on the layer panel manually, you are going to spend a lot of time. You are going to waste a lot of time, which is why that auto select is available for you. Once you can see the layer, you can click on auto select and tap on it by clicking on it. Look at this now. This one has plenty artboards. It has 402. Follow my mouse. It has 402 layers and 76 groups. Now, this is one reason that people are scared. Look at this. All of these are artboards. So if I begin to expand them, you see more stuff. If I begin to expand, expand, and more and more and more. Let's do this. So if I expand everything, imagine I'm trying to find where this layer is, this $40. I'm trying to find it, and then I'm now scrolling up and down this layer panel. Where's $40? Oh, where's $40? Oh, sorry. I assume everybody here is a Nigerian, so you understand the oh after my sentence. Okay, so if I try to locate that $40, I will just be wasting time. That I can just click on this auto select and click on this $40, and then it will automatically locate it on the layer panel. It doesn't matter where it is, it will find it. I'll go up and click on another thing. I'll click on this $75. It will find it immediately, and then it will go there, so I can see it. If I don't want to use that thing again, I can just hide it. This icon beside it, this hide, it is a visibility icon. It helps you to make a layer visible or to make it hidden. So if I click on it like this, that 70 something dollars is hidden. If I click on it again, it will show that item. Okay, so that is another function of that auto select. If you want to locate something on the layers panel, you can easily just click and then it will go there by itself. I click on this, it will go there. You see the shade, it will select it. Okay, you select it, you see the stuff that you are looking for. If I need to find this rocket, maybe I want to make changes to it. Let's say I want to change the color of that rocket, the blue around it. I can just click on it, I will find it, and then I will make adjustments to it. I can change the color, I can do almost anything. All right. Ooh, our time is fast spent. Let's do some more before time drops us behind. Please, if you can still hear me, you can send a message. Let me know that you can hear me. Stream is LD. Stream is LD. Error. Okay, the network is fluctuating. Please bear with MTN. Okay, so let's move on and we do some 30 minutes more and we call it a day. All right, so if you come up here, this is our file that we are working on, and then we have discussed the auto select and then the show transform. Okay, if you want to make something bigger or smaller, the transform controls are what you will use. Okay, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, bigger, smaller. Now let's move on. And I told you the function of this eyes. So click on this to hide, to hide, to hide. Okay, you can hide stuff on your layers panel. All right. Thank you all for staying behind or staying back. Let's go on with this. So after the move tool, yes, there is one thing I wanted to explain inside of this. Because inside of each tool there are more tools that are related. So, and we say they have the same shortcut. So what happens when one is active and you want to select the other, and you press V now and watch my mouse icon. When we have the when we have the artboard tool active, this mouse will not be this shape, it will be this other shape. Can you see now? It becomes like a box, right? So let's say I press V to get to move tool. Why can't I press V to go back to the artboard tool? Now I'll press V in 1 and 2. Can you see? It's not changing. I'll press it again. Nothing is changing. Nothing is changing. So that there must be a way that you can still use that shortcut to get there. And that way is to you hold your shift before you press that shortcut. So if I hold shift and I press V, automatically it will go back to the second tool or to the next tool. Please watch my mouse. Look at the icon, is up here. Watch it very well. I'm holding shift right now on my keyboard, and then I'll press V. You see that it is changing to it changed to the move tool. If I hold shift again and press V, it will change to the next one. So what it does is that it circles round every tool inside of that place. So it will select the next. When you press V, it selects the next. So if there are four of them, it will select it in that order. Okay, so let's do it for this one. This one has one, two, three, four of these tools. So, and the shortcut is M. I told you the letter beside that icon is the shortcut. So if I press M, it will get here. This is the rectangular marquee tool. So let's say I come like this, and then look at it, it's giving me this icon that looks like a plus. You can call it a crosshair. Okay, so I'll hold shift and press M, it goes to the next. Look at it up here, it has changed to the circle, the one that looks like a circle. Okay, then if I press shift M again, it changes to this one, it changes to this one. It doesn't circle, it doesn't go to the next two because I think it doesn't need it, so you have to select this one by yourself. Okay, Control D. Do not forget, Control D is what you use to deselect. Anytime you make a selection that you don't need, you can just press Control D and then it goes away. All right, so but let's move on to this one. This is LLL, all the three of them, it is circle random. Look at these three icons. This one looks like something that you just like a rope that you just make a knot of, and this one, then this one. So the shortcut is L. The shortcut is L. So if I press L on my keyboard, it remains in the same state, but if I hold shift and I press the L, it goes to the next one. The reason this thing changes to this shape is that this shape, do you know the meaning of this shape? I've forgotten what name it was called that we used to call it. Is it theta or something like that? It is telling you, whenever you see this shape on your mouse, it is telling you that the tool that is active, you cannot use it on the layer that is selected. Okay, or maybe the layer is hidden, so it can work. They are too related, it still can work, but I select one, now it can work. Look at me selecting on the layers panel. Okay, so anytime, but look at me, I will select the two of them. If I select the two of them, the way to do that is to click on the first one, hold shift and or control, then click on the second one. Okay, and then now you see that the mouse pointer has changed. It is telling us that you cannot use this tool on these two layers that you have selected at the same time. So that one points you to something. So sometimes you will see your mouse showing this thing. It means that the tool that you have active at that moment cannot work on the layers that you have selected. Okay, sometimes even just one layer, and we are going to get there. Okay, for example, if I select this layer, this glass, and then I select a tool like brush tool, yes, it will not answer me because this layer is right now what we call smart object. You will get to learn that very soon in this journey. Okay, so let's move on. Remember that I said we are going to learn not all the tools here, but the essential ones. The move tool is essential. The rectangular marquee tool is somewhat essential, not very essential. Then this selection tool, lasso tool, is also essential. And let us do some work on that right now. Lasso tool helps you to make a selection around something. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you can put your mouse on it and then it will tell you the function of that tool. So I just put my mouse on it and now it says make selections that snap to edges of an image as you drag. That's because we are on the magnetic lasso tool. It's like a magnet, but the primary one is the lasso tool. So if I put my mouse on it, it tells us what it does. Hold on please. Yeah, it says it makes freehand selection. So it does, you can do what you like. It's a freehand, it gives you a freehand. So with that selection, with that tool active, I can click To use a tool, you click, you hold your mouse and you drag. Again, yesterday I mentioned it and I will mention it now. To be a designer who will not be stressed, you need an external mouse. Okay? You need an external mouse. You cannot rely on your laptop mouse, the one, that pad and the buttons around it. It will not save you time. It is take your time, then you'll be using the two hands every time that you need to do it. So you click on your mouse and then you draw around what you want to select. It makes that selection. Okay, it makes a selection. Whenever a tool like this, either this one, this lasso tool and its associated tools, or this one that is the marquee tool, or the other associated tools, or even the quick selection tools, these ones, anytime they are active, right, anytime they are active, you will see stuff like this on top here. Please follow my mouse. Always follow the mouse so that you know what I'm talking about. Up here you will see this box, you see another one, you see this one, and then you see this one. Now please look at my mouse pointer. It has a big plus right now and a little plus beside it. A big plus, the plus mark, that's crosshair. It is actually called crosshair. And then it has a little plus beside it. That is telling you that when that plus is active, any selection you make will be added to the existing selection. Watch my mouse. I'm drawing right now. You see that it is expanding it because of that plus. Now I'm even using another tool because I started with the lasso tool. Now I'm on the marquee tool, but it still continues the selection. So this 1, 2 and 3, they are all selection tools. You use them to select pixels, use them to select stuff. It's just that they work differently. Okay, so the three of them can work together. They can be complementary to each other or to one another. So if I come back here, I can still continue my selection. However, look at the first box that is checked here. This one says make a new selection. So if I click now and draw, it will be a different selection. The previous one will be discarded. Can you see? I will press Ctrl Z or Ctrl Z to undo, and then we have the previous one. But when you get here, you put your mouse on it. Always put this at the back of your mind. Whenever something is not clear to you on Photoshop, you just put your mouse on it. It will tell you what it does. That is the beauty of it. It will immediately tell you what that tool does or what that icon stands for. So right now, I put my mouse on it. It will say add to selection. The previous one says new selection. That is, if you draw now, it will select something new. The previous selection will be discarded. The next one says add to selection. So if I click on it and then I come out, you see that apart from the shape of the icon itself, of the tool itself, there is a little plus, the plus mark beside it. It's telling you that any selection you make now will be added to the previous one. Can you see? If I draw around and release it now, it adds to my selection. It is adding to it. Okay, another thing is the next one. This one will subtract from the selection. There are many times that you need to use these two, the add and the subtract. Okay, the subtract from the selection. If I click on it and I draw in this thing, it will reduce the coverage of that selection. Watch me, I'm drawing around it. I release my mouse, it goes back inside. I draw like this, I release my mouse, it goes back inside. I draw like this, I release my mouse, it goes back inside. Can you see? So you must always watch out for these two. Sometimes you have made a selection, there are automatic on Photoshop that there are times that you will need to add to that selection or remove from it. And quickly I'm going to import an image and we use to experiment that thing that I just said. So let me look for an image. Let's bring in this guy. I click on it, I drag him to Photoshop, and then I drop him inside, and it will import the guy. So I put it on so that we can see only the guy. So let's say I want to remove background from this guy. Once I select this tool, this lasso tool, or I select the next one, up here you see something like select subject, right? If I click on this select subject, Photoshop will analyze the image. It will load for some time, for a few seconds. It will analyze the image and figure out which part of the image stands for the subject, the person in that image, and it will make a selection around that person. Can you see the line around this person? Let me quickly confirm if my stream is on, so that, ooh, the network is somewhat bad. Okay. uh what is happening? What is happening? Okay, the stream is back online. Okay, all right, please, let's go on. So the stream is back now. Whenever, once you click on this select subject, it makes a selection around the person, or even if it's a dog that is inside, or even if it's a cup. But Photoshop will just analyze it. It's AI based. It's just normal artificial intelligence. It will figure out which of the images the subject, and it will make a selection around it. But sometimes it may have little uh, faults, imperfections. Look at this selection here. The background here is white, but it only selected this little part of it. It leaves this white because it's very tiny for it. So what you want to do is that you will add to that selection by yourself. Okay, so for example, I'll change this to lasso tool, and then I select polygonal lasso tool, and then I go to subtract from selection, or this is add, then I go to subtract, and then I click like this, come down, click again, click like this, go up like this, and then I double click. Can you see it is removing from that selection? Now let me tell you something. It is not every time that you'll be sure whether you should add or you should subtract. Like right now, I actually wanted to add. It was by mistake that I selected that subtract. Okay, if you make a mistake, maybe you wanted to add and then you mistakenly subtract, what you do next is to just undo. For almost any app or any software, undo is always Ctrl Z. Okay, so if you press Ctrl Z, it will undo, and then you have the previous state back. But I really wanted to do what I did, so I press Ctrl Shift and Z to redo on Photoshop. But look at this part. Yes, this part has been selected, but it is the guy's clothes, and we don't want to delete this clothes. So what we do is we come back to add to selection, follow my mouse, we go to add, and then we select around it, 1 2 3 4. You draw around it, you'll be clicking as you are drawing around, and then you double click to end it, or you just click when it shows you that zero mark. And what happens, you see that that selection is gone. Now this is what could have happened. I will press Ctrl Z to have that state back. Right now there's something called layer mask. We still get there, just let me use it to explain. If I click on layer mask, watch this side, it's going to make one hole in that place. So I'll click on layer mask down here, and then we're now able to see the back of this guy from here. It has deleted part of his clothes. Can you see? So we can see that yellow thing under him, which is not supposed to be. It is as if the guy does not have a chest. Okay, so I press Ctrl Z, and then I will have to add this part to the selection. That please do not delete this side. I select around it, and that place is gone. Now if I click on the layer mask, that yellow color that we are seeing from under him, we will no longer see it. Can you see now? So that is one way that you use this lasso tool. So you can add, you can select. It helps you to select a pixel or pixels around an image or wherever. We will get to use all of these things very soon, and we have used it for this guy's image. Okay, so for practice, I'm going to send you this image on the group, not here. I'm going to send you this image on the group, and then you can practice with it. Download the image after the class, and then you practice with it. Okay, then let's move on. So in here we have this. So if you click and hold, you have the lasso tool. This one is free and you can draw like this. Okay, Control D to deselect. However, this one polygonal, you cannot click and be holding around. Okay, if you click before you can turn, you have to click again and click before you can turn. You have to be clicking. All the edges that you see, there are points at which I clicked. When I want to close that selection, I just double click papa, and then it covers everything. That is the way this one works. You have to click to draw it. The first one you don't have to click, you just click once and then you draw and release your mouse. Everything will join. Okay, the third one is the magnetic lasso tool. This one snaps around pixels. Okay, it works like a magnet, just like the name implies. So if I delete this layer mask, don't bother yourself about this layer mask thing, but because of the practice I gave you, once you do that selection, you just click on this little icon down here. That is the layer mask icon. It will activate that thing for you. Okay, so right now if I delete this layer mask and then I click on this edge, once I click on this edge, all I have to do is to stay close. I'll be moving my mouse. I'll click like this. I've done the clicking. I'll just be moving my mouse around it. I won't click. I've released the mouse, the button. I'm no longer clicking. As I move around the edges of this guy, it will be snapping it. It will be snapping. It will be working like a magnet. If at any point it doesn't want to pick where you need, you can just click once and then continue. If I get to this edge, I click once and then I continue. I won't have to click again. I'll release my mouse. I'll just be moving it, be moving it. It will be snapping to the edge, right? It will not just select almost anything. The computer too can recognize when a part of an image is important. So once you go like this, it will be snapping to the edge. You'll be doing your selection, right? This one will save you a lot of time. When I get out here, and then I can now click outside because I want to go back to where I started from. Out, and then I come here like this. I come here like this, and then I come and click at the edge here. Click at the edge, then I begin to move my mouse around. I move the mouse, I move the mouse. When I reach this place, watch what will happen to this mouse icon. There will be a little zero that will pop up when I'm close to the beginning of the whole selection. That little zero, yes, can you see it? I go back, then I come, watch again, you see the zero to come up. Yes, once you see that zero, if you click it will close your selection. I'll click in 1 2 3. The selection is done, right? This place is not perfect, so I need to add to that selection. Do not forget, up here if you click on this one, it will be add to selection and there will be a little plus on your pointer. Watch my mouse. So what you do is you click like this, the part you want to add to the selection, you click like this, and then you come and cover it up. You can double click from anywhere or you can go close, and when that zero comes up, you click, and then the selection gets better. Then if you click on your mask, you add a layer mask in 1 2 3, then it gives you this mask. Now this works differently because the mask covers the guy. I mean, it takes the guy out. The way mask work, I'm going to explain it maybe tomorrow, is that anywhere that is black will be hidden, anywhere that is white will be revealed. So what we do now is I come to this mask and invert it. Please don't bother yourself now. You will learn it as time goes on. So I invert the mask and then I can see the guy, the part of him that I want to see. So I can just put him down here, and then remember the transform controls up here. All these edges can help you make an image bigger or smaller. So if I want it to be bigger, I'll do it like this. I can do it from this edge, right? And then I press enter and everything is committed. Okay, if you are still there, oh, the network is somewhat bad. Ooh, what's happening? If you can see hear me, please let me know in the comment section. Let me know. The network is poor. All right, give me 1 second. So that's how you make a selection around your image, and then you add a mask to it. But do not worry, I'm going to show you how the mask works. It's not a big deal. It's just that you're just getting started, so it might look like it's a lot to put in your head at the moment. Okay, I'm trying to fix my network. All right, I'll fix the network. Let's hope this works better. All right, so let's check it out. Okay. Oh, it's not better yet. It's not yet good. Not yet good. Stream Earth. Not yet good, but we'll manage it. We'll just manage it for now. Okay. All right. So we have about 5 minutes to the end of today's class, so that it doesn't get too long. Uh, so that's about this tool. I want you to experiment. Use this tool, this lasso tool. Use the polygonal lasso tool. Use the magnetic lasso tool as well, and experiment with it. So what you do is, I've sent this image to you. Import it in your design. Remove the background. Remove the background of the image. Remove the background. One other thing I want you to do as an assignment, do not let me explain any other thing now. I don't want to explain further, so that I do not just load you with too much information. I delete those stuff. So once you create your artboard, import the guy's image, remove the background like I did, and then place him like this. Make him bigger, place him like this, and then add a text. So the text tool is here, this T. I want you to add a text and put your whatever it is that you like on it. Say, I'm going to type my head. I sent you a link to the fonts that I use. Okay, so you can download those fonts. This font is inside, but this is not even the font I'm going to use here. I'll change it to Bebas. 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 Where are you? BBA. Yeah. So you can put whatever text you like. Explain some things on this character panel in the last class yesterday. I can reduce the character spacing, right? And I can also make it bigger. Remember these show transform controls. Anytime you see all these nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, you can use it to make a text or any element bigger or smaller. Okay, so once you activate this transform like this, making it bigger, you can right click and do this thing I'm doing. You scale, push this up a little, and then on the side you click on this handle. Please follow my mouse. Click on this middle handle, push it up. This is 9.9, and then push this up. This is 19.9. This is too much, but let's just manage it. This is 20.5. okay, then you press this mark or press enter on your keyboard, and then it becomes active, and then it's committed. So once you are done with this, put it under, you drag it under this layer, right? Put it like this, and then make it this big. Okay, and then you save your design. So I want you to save the design, and then you can send me a screenshot. You can take a picture of it and send it to the group, so that we can all see. Okay, so most likely I'm going to delete them afterwards, so that the group does not get loaded with messages, but please send them, let me see, like this. So you can come to file and then come to save. and save your design wherever you want to put it. Okay, save your design wherever you want to put it so that you can continue with it the following day. So I'll press save, and mine is saved as the file name that we use from start, Photoshop Immersion Class 2, save, and then we have this done. Okay, so thank you everybody for showing up in today's class. um like I mentioned earlier, do not get worried. It's just the start. Okay, the stream will end shortly unless you restart it in your streaming software. Okay, all right, so do not get bothered, do not get stressed. These things are, they are deep, and then they are complex, but the way we are breaking them down, if you follow, you will learn them, and then once you learn what you need, you can get started on your design journey. Right, I'll be with you tomorrow, and then I want to see on the group your task as you get them done. Thank you once again. It's good to have you. Bye bye.